come together today on this Labor Day weekend, and providentially, our readings speak of work, the greatest work that all of us are called to do, living our faith, following the commandments of the Lord, to know that freedom and joy that he desires to share with us. First reading is from the book of Deuteronomy. That's the last of those first 5 books of the Bible. And in that book, there's mostly a restatement of the law that was first explained in Exodus when Moses had encountered God on Mount Sinai and was given the 10 Commandments. We hear today from chapter 4. Moses is now exhorting the people to hear all the statutes of the Lord and to observe them carefully. And notice the emphasis here. Moses does not say, consider the commandments. He doesn't say, evaluate which ones seem appropriate for you. Disregard the others. He calls them to follow them totally. He says, you shall not add to what I command you, nor subtract from it. Then our second reading from St. James, the theme is reiterated. Be doers of the word and not hearers only. Emphasizing again, there is work to be involved in living out our faith. St. James has to care for others, keeping ourselves unstained by the world. But of course, doing things is not enough. God's love is meant to fill our hearts, so there is an ongoing interior conversion in each and every one of us, so that our hearts are changed, so that all we do might be motivated by true love of God and of one another. And that's clearly the focus of our gospel today. We're told about the practices of the customs of the Jewish people. And at that time, their practices had become overwhelmed with legalisms. The fundamental call to love God had been replaced with all these innumerable regulations that were unmanageable. And in fact, they had violated Moses' command in that first reading that no one add to the law. And so Jesus quotes from Isaiah, this people honors me with their lips, but their hearts are far from me. And again, the focus is what is in our hearts. Do we come here each Sunday motivated by a deep love of God, to thank him for thank him inexpressibly for all the gifts he has given to us? Do we come here to grow in our intimate relationship with him, or maybe just to fulfill an obligation imposed upon us by the church? Do we seek to allow him in this Eucharist, when we receive him, to fully unite himself to us, to strengthen us, so that we might live more fully our faith, being more generous and kind and caring? Or do we leave here, having fulfilled what is required of us, and then living our lives the rest of the week mostly like everybody else? What we do here, this work in the Eucharist, is a most important one. It is a first and necessary practice of our faith, but we must always see it as the beginning of the work that is our lives of faith. For our encounter here with the Lord in word and sacrament is meant to be an impetus to an ongoing conversion of heart, and it must be then lived out in our daily lives. As we mark Labor Day, we're called to see the value and the dignity of all human work. The Catechism teaches us that work proceeds directly from our identity as persons created in the image and likeness of God, that through our work, we prolong the work of creation. This is what the Catechism says: by enduring the hardship of work in union with Jesus, the carpenter of Nazareth, and the one crucified on Calvary, man collaborates in a certain fashion with the Son of God in his redemptive work. Isn't that a beautiful and uplifting truth? Because you see, all of our work, whatever it is, connects us to God. It joins us to the work of Christ. It's the means by which you and I advance in holiness. For then, in the work that is our lives of faith, everything that we do here and out there will come together. We will see all circumstances as opportunities of a conversion of heart, living fully the teachings of Christ and his church, strengthened and sustained by our encounter with him here in this Holy Eucharist, so that we can today begin again the greatest work of all of us, following God's law in our lives of love.